some voting patterns, okay, and how things went. And really quick, this is kind of a good graphic here. What we're going to see is the difference between 2016, 2020, and 2024. And this is kind of a cool chart. And this is just Donald Trump. So, what we have here in 2016, you can see some numbers here. 52% of men voted for Trump, 41% only voted for Clinton, whereas, as usual, 54% of women voted for Clinton and 39 for Trump. And then you see the margins really tighten up in 2020, where 48% of the men voted for Biden and 50% voted for Trump. And then there was actually more women going towards Trump in 2020, even though I think really in all it was just a lot more votes. I think um, percentage wise, 2020 was the highest turnout in any election ever,
Hmm.
percentage wise, not vote wise. Sorry, I said that backwards. Vote wise, not percentage wise, is what I meant to say. So, vote wise, we had the most votes ever in 2020. I think in 2024 they were pretty close though. And then you can see in 2024 where men sharply went up for Trump, even more so than they did in 2016, 55 to 43, and then even some women went up. And then you kind of get into this other thing, just the white race, the great white race. We'll
Yeah.
talk about them for a second. No, we're not great at all. In 2016, Trump had 54% of those votes. In 2020, he had 55 and 55. So that kind of stays on par. In fact, Hillary Clinton had the worst out of between Biden, Clinton, and Harris. And then you look at the black non-Hispanic vote. That was huge, and Trump definitely cut into that. You see in 2016, 91 to 6, 2020, 92 to 8, but then you see here in 2024 where it went from 83 to 15. So there was a definite cut into that. And this is how Trump won the 2024 election, is when you look at these three boxes. You look at black, non-Hispanic, then you look at Hispanic, and you look at Asian. All of these numbers are better for Trump than they don't have the numbers here for 26 for Asian, but you can see these numbers. The Hispanic number 66 to 28 from Clinton had 38-point advantage in that in 2016. Biden had a 25-point advantage against with Hispanics in 2020. But then look at that. It goes all the way down to 3. So Trump really brought up, these are the three main things. He brought up the black vote, the Hispanic vote, and the Asian vote quite significantly in 2024. And that's basically how he won, was through the kind of the minority voting. And then if you want to even look at some numbers further, you look at white men and white women. You have women here. That was kind of steady. The men was steady, even though the men did not really go for Hillary Clinton. And there was something that I saw Michelle Obama say a few days ago, and she said that we are not ready for a woman president. She said that she thinks there's some misogyny within the voting base, which I'm sure there is. I just don't know how much there is. So it is kind of interesting that she said that. And when you look at these numbers, maybe in 2016, I really just think Hillary Clinton wasn't the best candidate. This right here, and we can talk about it all you want, is kind of a response for Clinton kind of fucking over Bernie Sanders. Because I think that in 2016, and this might be controversial, but I really do think that if Bernie Sanders would have took the nominee in 2016, I think he would have won in
Hmm.
2016. And I
I
don't
agree with you.
know if we would have ever had any Trump presidencies after that. I'm not sure. COVID did do some fucked up shit, so who knows? But yeah, I mean, do you have some
Yeah.
things you want to say? I feel like I'm talking
Well,
a
I
lot
just
here.
I agree with that. Well, no, you got all the facts here, but I agree with your assessment of Bernie Sanders that I think he would have taken it all. He would have gone all the way. I think that he swayed a lot more of the moderate vote, and I think for whatever reason, Trump gets a lot of that from some of these people,
Yeah.
especially like Harris. I feel like a lot of the moderate vote went to Trump. The yeah, I just yeah, but what happened to Bernie was really crazy, and I hope that Democrats kind of can look at that at some point as a case study on like what on how things work. Because Now, why didn't he get through?